Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Let's Talk About It. Today, we got some new news on a new villain that James Gunn has cast in his new Superman Legacy movie called The Engineer, and how it could relate to his Authority movie. Some recent news on Fantastic Four also came out. Pedro Pascal is in talks to star in that Fantastic Four movie. And let's talk about the good and the bad about that. And also, Dustin Day Creighton has left Avengers Kang Dynasty. What could that mean, and why this isn't as bad as what people might be thinking? So, let's talk about it. Let's go. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Say yeah! Woo! Oh, that's a great line. That is a great line.
Almost fucking killed me! You're welcome!
Alright, guys. Welcome back to episode 4. And we have a lot to talk about. Some castings going on, some recent news in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about this first topic first. So Superman Legacy has cast, I believe, its villains, or one of the villains. I don't know if she's the main villain, but she's a villain. A villain called the Engineer, played by Maria Gabrielle de Faria. And I didn't know anything about the Engineer, so I kind of went in and kind of tried to find something like who is this character. Her name's Angela Specia, and basically she's she can use nanotech to kind of form weapons. She's kind of like a Vision / Ultron type person, and she was reintroduced in the new 52 reboot, and she became leader of a group called Stormwatch, which I don't know much about, but she is most known for being a member of the Authority, which that means that we're already seeing the buildings of this universe. We kind of got an idea of what Superman Legacy was going to be about when he cast Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, and I can't remember his name, so I guess, but they cast the guy who was in X-Men First Class. They cast him as Mr. Terrific. Great castings. And that kind of made it we're already living in world of superheroes. Now, we're kind of seeing how this is connecting to James Gunn's overall DCU, which is very exciting. Very exciting to see. It's so great to get castings again after the strike, but, I think this is a very great chance, because I think James Gunn loves to go with obscure characters. And this is very obscure. I know comic books and I know DC, but I don't know anything about the Authority, which that interests me. This interests me because this is showing that this person might stick around for a long time, and it shows that the Authority might make an actual appearance in this movie. We might get some of the members that show up to challenge Superman. And it's very interesting. Very interesting. And there was an article put out by Deadline, and the actress Maria Gabrielle de Farah, she let's see, she was best known. She was in The Exorcism of God, which was a supernatural horror pick. And she was just in the recent show with Joe McHale called Animal Control. So she hasn't been in these big movies, which I think it's good to choose obscure actors. It's good. It's good. And it was very controversial the other day when James Gunn chose the writer for the Superman movie, and she had only written one short film. And I think that a lot of people are gonna not fall in love with this casting, but I think once we see her in the role, because I'm not gonna judge anything until I see a trailer or a movie, because you can't judge it right now. They're all just trying to get it together. And we're not going to be really getting into this until 2025. And I'm wondering, like, is she the actual villain or is there something more? Because I think James Gunn, for a villain for this movie, he's not going to pick a Brainiac. He's not going to pick a Zod. He's not going to pick a Doomsday. And I honestly think Lex Luthor is not going to appear in this movie. I think that is the case. Is the case. That he won't appear. And I think that's good because, you want to introduce the world of Superman. And maybe you tease Luthor in a post-credit scene. But overall, I think this is fantastic news. We're getting more casting announcements. And I believe we're going to get some more in the coming days. So yeah. So let's jump on to this next topic here that I want to talk about, which it's one of the big ones. Finally, we got some Fantastic Four news. I love Pedro Pascal, guys. I think he is a terrific actor. I think he is really good. I love Mandalorian. I fell in love with Pedro in The Last of Us. He was great in Game of Thrones as well. And he's a lot more of a high actor now. And he's already been in the superhero genre in DC. Well, it looks like he is in talks to join another superhero franchise, but in a much larger role. So this is an article by Variety has reported that he's being eyed to play Mr. Fantastic. Which, thinking about it, was really good for. I think that's a really good character for him to play. And it's also a different role for him. We see him as the dad character. Especially in the Last of Us, even in that We Are Heroes movie that Robert Reedus did, he kind of plays the dad character, and it's great because this is gonna be very different for him because he's playing an intellectual guy who is maybe a smart ass. He's an ass, and I think I can see him playing this. I can see Pascal playing this because he's like the right age, but like he is 48, so that's also kind of alarming that they got to get moving on this movie quick, so maybe they start filming like next year. But yeah, this is kind of the first signs that we're going to get that Fantastic forecasting. Now, like what I said in the beginning, that it's good and bad. There's been a lot of controversy. Fans like, Pedro Pascal? What about John Krasinski? He's my Mr. Fantastic. And I'm like, guys, I think we need to remember that John Krasinski, that was a fan cast people wanted, and Kevin Feige made it come true, and we saw it. And sure, it lived up to people's expectations. To some people, didn't, but we saw that because I don't really think John Krasinski right now wants to be in this Marvel universe. I think he is so busy, guys. I don't think he has time for this. So is Pedro Pascal, but not John Krasinski is not only an actor, but he's a director. He's got, oh my gosh, he's got his new movie If coming out. His Imaginary Friends movie. He's got his Quiet Place universe he's setting up with that. He's got all this stuff going on. And he also just finished Jack Ryan, which he just from a major franchise. And, John Krasinski's not really a franchise guy. Pedro Pascal, he's in the Disney family. He's been in The Mandalorian, and he's done well in The Mandalorian. And I think for this Fantastic Four movie, you have to get people who want to go see it. Because where Marvel is right now, it is not a place where people are jumping out to go see the next Marvel movie. Like, they're going to go see movies like this, Spider-Man No Way Home. They're going to jump out of the to go see Deadpool 3. But those are multiversal movies with a bunch of cameos, and that's why they're enticing to go to. That's why. We just look at the Marvels, which had a $47 million opening. And really the only mainstream actors in there were Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson. Tiana Paris and Iman Vellani, they haven't been in enough movies for people to see. They've been in good movies. They've been good. Like, Iman Vellani's brand new. She was only in Miss Marvel. And just the Marvels. And Tiana Paris, I only heard of her when she was in that Candyman movie that Nia DaCosta did. And so I think I really hope this is it. Because there's been a lot of rumor for this role. A lot of rumors for who is going to be playing Mr. Fantastic. And we've had, Adam Driver, of course, John Krasinski. We had one of the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He was rumored for a while. And this is, our fourth, casting that Marvel's eyeing. And I hope they can finally make the announcement because the longer we get it, we wait for this, the longer people are going to become less interested in the movie, I feel like. Because they're like, oh, we're just fan casting Fantastic Four all the time. But this is, I think, very important casting. They need to nail. They need to nail this, and they also need to nail Sue and Johnny and all of them. These are some of the most important castings Marvel has to do. Because, and also, they're going to be people who aren't going to like it. People who would watch someone else. And I think we just need to, people need to accept that Marvel is going to try to get the best actor possible. And they're trying to, I think they're trying to rehabilitate their 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 brand. Because their brand right now is that we don't make good movies. That they do not make the high quality movies that they used to make. And I think people were kind of upset about the delays, but I think the delays were necessary. But overall, I think Pedro Pascal is going to be a really good choice to pick for your Mr. Fantastic. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the final topic for today's episode. And that is this article that just came out, yesterday by Deadline. That Dustin Day Crane departs as the director of Avengers King Dynasty, but he will remain on board for Wonder Man and Shang-Chi 2. Now, I honestly think that this is a sign that we are not getting King Dynasty anymore. And you might be like, well, why aren't we getting King Dynasty? Why aren't we getting that? It's like, Marvel, I think, is shifting away from this King storyline. And I think they're shifting towards Victor Von Doom becoming the main villain. Because of the Jonathan Majors troubles, and also the multiverse saga has not worked. It has not worked. Because everyone's using multiverse now. DC is using multiverse. Even the DC TV shows who did the multiverse well. I look at the DC TV side of things, guys. I look at DC TV, and they did multiverse really well. They did it with the Flash. Flash introduced the multiverse in season 2 of it, and we got a really good Crisis story, and I think it's very underrated. And these DC and Marvel and their film side have not gotten it right. Marvel has gone the route of just thinking that multiverse should just be full of cameos, and that we, as Marvel fans, we would like it. And that they tried to also build up this Kang character. They tried to build up Kang as this main bad guy, and we introduced him in Loki. We got him in this Ant-Man movie, and they really kind of didn't make him menacing. Because the thing is, we don't know which Kang is the real bad guy, and I think that's a problem. We knew about Thanos. We knew what type of character Thanos was. He was a tyrant who had a simple goal: to get the Infinity Stones and to change the universe to how he thinks it should be. We don't know what Kang wants, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but I think it's just made people more confused. And Marvel's saying that this Kang storyline's not doing well. Watching Loki, they kind of wrap that old Kang stuff up, which is you don't have to do any more Kang. Kang can be gone. And with Dustin Day Crane leaving this, I think I'm not scared. I'm happy. I'm kind of a bit happy because that means that they're still working. So Shang-Chi 2 is definitely going to be coming out probably before this, which is good news, which I don't think a lot of people are talking about because we want to know where Shang-Chi is. I want to know where Shang-Chi is. I watched Shang-Chi 3 times in the movie theater, guys. I love that movie. It's so fun. It's so good. That's the Marvel I remember that was fun. And I think Daniel Craig is a very good director. And I'm super excited to see what he does with Wonder Man. Because Wonder Man is a very interesting character, and I'm so glad that this kind of confirms that Wonder Man is still happening. But him leaving, I think, is not as big as a deal as people are going to make it out to be. I think it's a big deal, basically saying that we're done with Kang, that Kang's over. Kang's done. And I think that Marvel, this summer, needs to come out to Comic-Con or some event and tell us what is going on with these movies. They need to have a plan and present it to us. Because this is what happened with DC. DC they had a plan, changed it, but they didn't tell us what was happening. They just like, oh, we got this movie, here's this movie, let's delay that, delay that. Marvel needs to come out and say something. It's not that they need to. Kevin Feige can do whatever he wants. I trust Kevin Feige, I'm so glad only Deadpool 3 is coming out next year, because that gives him time to restructure and kind of for Kevin Feige to get his more hands on projects. But I think that, like I said, Dustin Lundgren, great director, and I can't wait to see Shang-Chi 2 and Wonder Man. Very excited for those. And if King Dynasty still happens with another director, I'll be fine with it. But for now, in my mind, I'm thinking this movie is in the trash can. We ain't doing King Dynasty. We're gonna do like Doom Dynasty or something with Doom. And that's what, now that even makes, if that is happening, also, that makes Fantastic Four probably one of the most important movies now. Because that's where you introduce the word Fantastic Four. I think in that movie you introduce Victor Von Doom, but you do not have him as the villain. You have to build up Doom. Maybe put Victor Von Doom in a post-credit scene like they did Thanos. And say like, I am Doom. And that's what we need. We need stories that... Movies do not have to connect. But in the case of Marvel, they need to start connecting things. People, after saying Marvel's like, oh, I'm getting a sense of what's going on. I'm like, there's a sense, but there's also a confusion, like, where does, like, characters like Moon Knight and She-Hulk fit into this multiverse story? How does Monica, like, eventually fit into coming back? So many more questions, and I think a lot of us are just, it shouldn't be, but a lot of us are excited to see what comes after this multiverse saga. Because I think people are getting tired of these multiverse saga movies because none of it's making sense. But I think that once we see Deadpool 3 is going to ignite something in us fans. Not just me and you guys who are watching this video, who know about the MCU, who know about all this stuff going on behind the scenes. I think people are going to see it like, wow, that's the Marvel I remember. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of Let's Talk About It. So yeah, make sure you leave a comment in this video, and also leave a like in the video. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and go check out my Instagram and Twitch. And I'll see you next time.